Hello, good evening, and welcome to HB Whole Field in Versailles, where tonight on WOSN we've got a big-time Midwest Athletic Conference matchup between the 5-0 Versailles Tigers and the 5-0 Marion Local Flyers. I'm Garrett Seawright, joined alongside with Mark Shine. We'll bring you all the action tonight here for this big-time Midwest Athletic Conference matchup. Tonight's pregame brought to you by Lima Chevrolet Cadillac, the area's premier Chevrolet and Cadillac dealer, serving Lima for over 100 years. They're proud to call this home. And Mark, we do not have great weather conditions. might be an understatement here tonight in Dark County.
Well, and officially it is 68 degrees. Officially the wind is at 21 miles per hour, gusting into the 40s. And it's been rainy off and on. I think the weather word is intermittent.
Yes.
And if you think about how the weather might affect the game, Marion Local won the toss. Typically, Tim Goodwin takes the football.
Yes, sir.
Today he delayed. Versailles get the football first, but that allowed Marion Local to take the wind in the opening quarter and probably establish a good start to the football game for them.
Absolutely. Of course, we called this game last year in Marion Local that was a barn burner, a 14-13 win for the Flyers, and has led them to winning 53 in a row now. I'm sure Versailles would like to avenge that loss here against a Flyer squad and break that streak that's been going on since 2021 now.
Well, you know, the real key to the game last year, and the thing I think that Versailles has to do this evening in order to win the football game, is they have to defend. They were able to hold Marion Local to just 2 scores last year. It's a Versailles team this year that averages 7 points a game defensively, and I don't think they can outscore Marion Local in a shootout-type game. But if they can defend and keep it close as they did a year ago when a missed PAT kept it from being an overtime game, I think then Versailles has a chance tonight.
Now it's time to take a look at those pregame keys to the game presented by Lima Chevrolet Cadillac, the area's premier Chevrolet and Cadillac dealer, serving Lima for over 100 years. They are proud to call this home. And you talk about the keys to the game, Mark. What stands out for you for both sides to grab a W here tonight?
You know, Garrett, normally we look at this is what Marion Local has to do, this is what Versailles has to do, but the teams are evenly matched in some areas. And I said a moment ago, both teams are very, very good defensively. Versailles gives up 7.2 points per game. Marion Local gives up 4.4. They get up 22 total points on the season. Defense wins games. This is a game we're probably going to have sloppy conditions. Will a defensive back fall down? Will somebody fumble the ball? Those types of situations, I think defense is going to be a real key for them. And then who can muster some offense? Versailles runs the football, and they run it very, very well. Marion Local is a little bit more diversified, but the weather may take away that diversification this evening. So who can establish something probably on the ground this evening throughout the course of the football game? And then it comes down to penalties, turnovers, and the little things like that can be so big in a close football game between 2 5-0 teams.
Yeah, and you mentioned the defenses. The top 2 statistical defenses in the Midwest Athletic Conference about to tango here tonight from Versailles, and they'll do it. When we return, we'll have first quarter action for you. It's undefeated Versailles, undefeated Marion Local next here on WOSN. High school football tonight on WOSN, brought to you by Layfeld Industrial and Welding Supplies. They have locations in Coldwater and in Greenville. Inching closer to kickoff tonight between Marion Local and Versailles. As we mentioned in the Lima Chevrolet Cadillac pregame show, the Marion Local Flyers won the coin toss and elected to defer until the second half. So they will... Versailles is going to start with the football, but Marion Local going to make them go into the wind here in this blustery conditions at HB Whole Field. And Mark, we talked about Marion Local with a 53-game winning streak. Versailles hasn't beat the Flyers since 2012. They'd like to snap both of those streaks here this evening. And I wonder if do the conditions maybe help Versailles a little bit here, maybe more than Marion Local?
How about if I say it this way? I talked with a WAPOC assistant coach this week. They have Shawnee. And he said, you know what? We are a better football team than Shawnee, but this type of weather evens things out. And he was concerned about what might happen in that particular game. I think that's the same thing here. Who adapts to this type of situation? The rain comes in sheets. You got to catch the ball in the air when it's punted. You got to catch a snap when you're in the shotgun. You got to hand the ball off cleanly. Who fumbles the football? Does a DB slip on the wet grass? There are so many things that can happen, so many variables. I think this weather does make it a little bit more of a competitive nature because you don't know what's going to happen.
And I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility to point out that it probably is going to be difficult to throw the football tonight. And I think that maybe just helps Versailles just slightly more, that Marion Local wants to throw the ball 168 yards per game, and maybe more importantly, 17 yards per completion. Those are big aspects of the game maybe potentially being taken away from the Flyers tonight.
Well, here's one thing you can see. Carson Bills is going to kick off with a wind at his back. There's a good chance this will land in Indiana somewhere.
You can see the Marion Local flag. The flags on top of the goalpost are whipping as Carson Bills, who is one of the finer kickoff specialists in the area, has a football teed up, and it is likely to go a long way. It got up in the jet stream, is just got to the goal line.
Well, we saw him a week ago against New Bremen. He put 6 balls into the end zone on a dead quiet night. Now, that ball, he got up in the air a little bit, didn't go as far as it typically does for him, but it does make Versailles start on their own 20-yard line.
So the Tigers will get started there. Their offensive line, Nate Marshall, Caden Starkey, Jack Borchers, Andrew Kaiser, and Leland Boland from left to right. The quarterback, Ethan Wilker, the 6'1", 175-pound junior, thrown for over 600 yards and 5 touchdowns so far this year. Also has 2 touchdowns on the ground. He'll be joined in the backfield sporadically by James Schmidtmeyer and Ross Francis, as Francis will get the first carry of the evening out to the 22-yard line. He's got 4 touchdowns on the season from that running back spot.
Well, with this very stiff wind in their face, look where Marion Local's DBs lined up. They were only 6 or 8 yards behind the line of scrimmage. They're not anticipating the ball going downfield very far, and they're going to cheat up to play that run.
And you can devote 2 more players, maybe 3 or 4 more players to the run game. It's certainly going to make things tough sledding for both sides here this evening. Also at wide receiver tonight for Versailles, Chase Watron, Chase Monin, and Luke Kaiser will line up as the tight end from time to time, as they will go I formation with Ross Francis dotting the I. Schmidtmeyer, the man in motion. A handoff. Well, it's actually Landon Kanapke with the carry, wearing number 28.
He brought the play in from the sideline. They tried to go off the right side of the formation and just use power formation. They did get it up to about the 25-yard line.
So it will be 3rd and 5 for the Versailles Tigers, trying to get that ultimate outdoor first down.
This time it's Drake Orange brings the play in from the sideline.
Wilker will line up in the shotgun. 2 wide receivers split out wide to each side. Schmidtmeyer in the backfield. He is quickly chased. Wilker running for his life off the far side. Benton Seitz giving him chase as Drew Laws in on the stop, as was Isaac Mullenkamp, but it looks as if the Flyers might have forced a punt here on the first defensive possession.
Really good pressure from Benton Seitz. Came off the right edge of the formation, chased him out of the pocket where a couple of teammates, including Laws, were able to secure it. And now we're going to get our first punt directly into this wind.
Leland Boland on to punt for the Tigers.
Averages about 31 a snap, a punt.
And it's blocked partially. As he got it off. It's not going to hardly get past the line of scrimmage, and that's a big play for that Marion Local defense.
The snap wasn't great. Got one of the Flyers in there, and that ball ended up being tipped and ended up in the Marion Local band. That's not typically where you want your punt to go.
No, that is absolutely not. And really, Vic Holscher had his heels, I think, on the 50-yard line. So the Flyers were anticipating getting great starting field position to begin with, but they'll start at the Tiger 30 or 23-yard line, I beg your pardon.
Is this just exactly the way Coach Goodwin wanted it done? We get the ball, we get the win. The block punt obviously helps, but even with a good punt, they were going to get the ball on the plus side of the field, but this is even better. Just exactly what Coach Goodwin wanted.
Flyer offensive line from left to right. Luke Kunkler, Derek Greship, Colton Arns, Thomas Winter, and Kyle Ungren. As quarterback Justin Knopf, the senior, completes just under 70% of his passes, will line up in the pistol with Parker Hess behind him. He'll now send Hess to his right hip and will catch the snap and run to the near side. He's got room to rumble inside the red zone. And he is pulled to the turf by Ards, but the Flyers on the first play of the game deep inside the Rule First red zone.
How about that? He bobbled the snap a little bit, gathered himself, still got to the right side of the formation, and nice strong run by the junior quarterback.
It is 1st and goal now from the 3-yard line for the Flyers. inside that rule first red zone. Clock continuing to tick as Arns made the touchdown saving tackle. Flyers will line up in the I formation. Drew Law is a deep back. They'll now send Parker Hess in motion. They'll hand off to the up back, Heitkamp. Did he get across the goal line? He did.
Had to wait a long time to get that signal that time, but he does. Heitkamp with his 4th rushing touchdown of the year.
And that Burke Petroleum TD puts Marion Local on the board first early here in quarter number 1. His 2 plays to punch it in from 23 yards out. Now the old muddle huddle to the far side of the field. Get a new dry football on the grass here.
How long is it going to stay dry?
I was going to say it might be a uphill climb to keep the footballs dry this evening. As Everman to hold. Snap a little high. The kick through the uprights and good. Carson Bills has the extra point with 9:18 to go here in the first quarter. The Holman's Insurance scoreboard reads Flyers 7, Tigers nothing on WOSN. Touchdown tonight brought to you by Burke Petroleum, now offering propane for residential, farm, commercial, and industrial users. Burke Petroleum, dependable, available. 800-776-3097.
2 plays, 23 yards, 39 seconds off the clock. Great start for the Marion Local Flyers.
Carson Bills has the football teed up at the 40-yard line. He'll send it away one more time. As the Tigers have Tyler Bargy back deep to return on one side, I believe. As Bills boots it away. That high end-over-end kick will bounce into the end zone, and another touchback for Bills. As the Tiger returner thought about catching it and pulling it out just to see if we can't get past the 20-yard line to get a little better starting field position.
Blake Monin looked at it, didn't he? He wanted to give it a go, but I guess discretion is a better part of valor. But now we need Versailles. They need to move the football. They got to get some yardage, so even if they do have to punt, it's not as drastic a situation as it was the last time.
So Wilker will come back out after the 3-and-out on the initial drive for the Tigers. In the shotgun. Now send a man in motion. Schmidtmeyer in the man in motion. A high snap over Wilker's head. He'll fall on it inside the 5-yard line, and the start has gone from bad to worse for the Tigers.
That's a high snap, but it's one that you could probably reel in on a dry football, but the ball was wet. It got through his hands, got back, and he saved it. It could have been a touchdown or a safety.
He is tugging tightly on the towel on his waistband trying to get his hand dry, as it is already a wet field as the rain continues to fall here at HB Hole Field.
Well, that's a good idea, but now you got to keep the towel dry.
Right. I don't know that there is a towel budget big enough to keep the footballs dry tonight, keep the towels dry tonight.
Luke Kaiser brings this play in.
So it is 2nd and long.
Here they come.
They'll hand to Schmidtmeyer up in the middle. He's shoved backwards. Benton Seitz and Isaac Mullenkamp in quickly on the stop. And it is going to be 3rd and very long for the Tigers.
The Marion Local Flyers brought a lot of guys that time. Nowhere for Schmidtmeyer to run. Actually lost another yard, and they're at negative 16 yards here on 2 plays.
It is 3rd and 26. In the shadow of their own goalpost. Don't want to be in a situation where they are punting into the wind from inside their own end zone.
It's like sharks with blood in the water. Watch them come this time.
The Flyers bring 11 inside the box. Wilker looks to throw over the middle of the field. Ball bobbled. It's caught by Drake Arns in traffic. And Tigers maybe avoid disaster there as it's put in a tight spot. Arns hangs on to it after initially bobbling just a little bit. And just to even get a couple of yards out of that, it's probably a moral victory for the Orange and Black.
That's a good catch. That ball was thrown with some steam on it, and it bounced off his hands, but he reeled it in. And although it's going to be 4th down, they did pick up a little bit of yardage to make it a little bit better situation, out to about the 11.
Approaching 7 minutes to go on the Holman's Insurance scoreboard.
Look where Holster is on the 35-yard line.
Bolin, much cleaner snap that time, and you just see that ball hit a brick wall and will drop to the 27-yard line. And once it got up in the air, it just completely died. And for the second time, Marion Local going to have great starting field position. And there's nothing Leland Bolin can do there.
Absolutely. He got a pretty good strike on the ball. He got it up in the air, though, and when that happened, you could see the wind just knocked it down. So the football's on about the 27-yard line. We're going to bring a dry ball in from the sideline.
Yeah, you got to hit the pitching wedge instead of the loft. There's nothing, not a whole lot you can do. Holster lines up in the backfield to the left of Knopf with Hess on his right hip.
Tigers defense need to stand here.
Holster will go in motion. Knopf will keep it himself with room to run. Inside the Rule First red zone, and a penalty flag thrown well after the play, and a holding call going to go against the Marion Local Flyers. It was well after the play, well after Knopf had gotten past the first line.
Number 72, Thomas Winter, pulled that time. He had knocked down a defensive end on the left side of the formation, gave him room to run, but somebody else got caught with a hold.
So that will push them out of the Rule First red zone. And instead of an ultimate outdoor first down, it's going to remain first down, but it's going to be first and long.
Be first and 20. That's the new rule this year, remember? Instead of being 15, it's 10 for a hold. Makes it a little bit easier to recover from a situation like that, but it did take a big gain away from Knopf.
So the Flyers will go under center. Holscher in motion from left to right. He'll turn and pitch. Looking to get it to Hess. The ball's free, and the Tigers think they hopped on it. And I think Marion Local somehow, some way got back on the football, and they did.
They did. I think that was Hess.
Yes, it was Hess who was the runner there. Just a little behind him, and then the slippery football made things very interesting. It remains second, or it's now second down.
But back to the 39-yard line. They do have the wind behind their back, so it makes it a little easier to throw than what Versailles would be facing.
Knopf with Hess behind him. Looking to throw. Going deep up the far side, and he overshot Vic Holscher. Or I beg your pardon, Daniel Everman. And it will be third and long as you get good sportsmanship there by Vic Holscher and Ross Francis. Holscher had his shoulder pad slipped out over the top of his jersey, and Francis tucked it back up under for him.
Guys been competing against each other for a lot of years, back to middle school type football and in a lot of different sports in this conference.
Ball at the 39-yard line, so third and 21.
Be a huge stop right here for Versailles. That's we're in 4-down territory, but still be a huge stop if they can keep the Flyers from getting the first down here.
Knopf takes the snap, and we get a false start penalty.
Yep. I think somebody moved up front on the interior line.
Really, probably doesn't change the play call all that much, does it? Third and 21 turns into third and 26.
I think maybe the only thing is you showed something that time when you come out with your two receivers to each side of the formation.
I believe the Marion Local Flyers have taken a least famous recipe chicken timeout. We will as well. 5:48 to go here in quarter number one. No, the Flyers called timeout, so no false start. So they did take the least famous recipe chicken timeout. We will as well. 5:48 to go here on WOSN. Timeouts tonight brought to you by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken in Lima, Wapak, Delphus, and St. Mary's. Call Lee's for all your catering needs. Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken, home style, happens here. Third and 21 after the Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken timeout.
So actually what happened, Coach Goodwin called timeout, and one of those linemen wanted to be the first guys over to talk to Coach, and so it looked like he had moved, but he actually had.
Right. In his exuberance,
here's a different formation too.
Holscher in the backfield to the near side. He'll be the man in motion. Knopf looks that way, and now we'll drop back to pass, and will keep it himself with room to run, scampering to the far side. did not get the ultimate outdoor first down, but got a big chunk of yards to make it fourth and much more manageable.
Saw those guys playing man-to-man. They've got their back to Knopf when he breaks through the line of scrimmage playing defense, and they don't see him making that move. He's able to pick up a lot of yards. That was well blocked, too.
So 4th and 4 now for Marion Local. Still would be a big stop for that Versailles defense if they can get off the field here and avoid the ultimate outdoor first down.
That it would.
Got to get to the 19-yard line, so need to be inside the rule first red zone. Do the Flyers. Hess behind Knopf. And now Versailles will take their Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken timeout. We'll keep it here under 5 minutes to go in the first half. First quarter, I should say.
Are you surprised a bit, Garrett? I don't try to coach anybody's football team, but with the leg that Carson Bills has, the wind behind him, and a 4-yard thing here, maybe we go for 3 and get up 10. But I think Coach Goodwin has so much confidence. Plus, if they don't get it right here, look where they've left Versailles.
I was going to say that might be the bigger factor is, you know what, we'll take the chance if we don't get 4. I'm certain. I can hear Tim Goodwin say, if we can't get 4 yards, we don't deserve to win a game.
Yeah.
And if we don't get it, they're still at the basically where it would be if we made the field goal.
Yeah.
And if we get a touchback. So I think, I'm not surprised that they're going to go for it because I think.
And the third possession for Versailles, should it turn out that way, is still going to be with the wind in their face and not in great field position.
Yeah, chances are that they're still going to be with the football in this first quarter marching against a headstrong wind. So on 4th and 4, it certainly appears as if the Flyers are going to go for it.
If Versailles can get a stop, and if they can get out of this quarter just down 7-0, and then they can get the wind in the next quarter, I think that's a goal right now for Coach Jones' team. Need a stop right here, though.
So we'll see what the Flyers dial up. Here's Knopf will call the play. Break in the huddle. 4 minutes, 58 seconds to go on the Holman's Insurance scoreboard. Here's Knopf has Ethan Heitkamp behind him. On 4th and 4. Now lines up on the right hip. And Knopf drops the football. Has to go the complete opposite way, and the Tiger defense gets a big-time stand.
I think that was Ross Francis back there when he fumbled the football on the snap. Francis was back there to make sure that he couldn't pick up the yardage. Tried and leaned forward, but that's a good stop for Versailles. And again, the penalty, a little bit of action with the football being damp, and you put all that together, and Versailles survives.
I wonder, we talked about maybe the adjustment to the conditions. I wonder if maybe Marion Local ends up going under center more often with the wet football on the snap and maybe stops with the toss sweeps and things like that. Just we're going to hand the ball off. We're going to hand the ball off from the center to the quarterback. We're going to hand the ball off to the running back as you see Versailles go under center in the I formation. Schmidtmeyer in motion. The handoff to Kanapke. He got out to the 25-yard line, so a gain of 3 on first down.
Pulled the right guard, Andrew Kaiser, that time came across the formation. Tried to get a kick-out block inside.
So momentum a little bit here on the Tigers side as the rain continues to fall down.
Take 3 yards if you can get them.
Cade Bergman, the senior, checks into the football game as Francis will line up his deep back in the I formation. Wilker going to throw. Has a little bit of time, looking for the flats, a little high for Bergman. And it'll bring up 3rd and long. We have a penalty flag down at the 30-yard line. Yes, we just got an ineligible man downfield.
Timing was a little messed up on the play. Coming off the right side of the formation, the defensive side, right side, came Benton Seitz again that time. He looked, first of all, for a dive inside, and otherwise he would have gotten the quarterback cleanly. Still, the quarterback had to release the football and missed his target on the sideline.
Tigers will bring out some tight ends in exchange for wide receivers as the penalty declined. So 3rd and 7 upcoming for the Versailles Tigers. Really, getting to the 25-yard line is kind of the high water mark thus far for the Tigers offense.
They were there on their initial possession. Last time they got just to the 11.
Yeah, after starting at their own 20.
Yeah.
So 3rd and 7.
Here they
Wilker
come.
in the gun. Has to get rid of it. Cannot connect with Ross Francis out of the backfield, and it'll bring up 4th. 4th down one more time.
I don't know whether Seitz got his hand on the football and knocked it down. Certainly he was in the vision that time and made it difficult to get that pass out to the receiver coming through the screen pass.
And Wilker knew, I got to get rid of this thing, otherwise we are in a world of hurt.
Well, if you're the head groundskeeper, when this game's over, all you got to do right now is reseeding one end of the field, because we have played to this end of the field, the west end of the field, the whole opening quarter, if they come again.
Bolin able to get it,
and
that's a much better punt to the far side. Holscher trying to run and get it, and the Flyers will scoop it up. It's Parker Hess with the football, and he's slammed to the turf by Wilker. I beg your pardon. That was Griffin Bruns with the football. And a penalty flag. Is he guilty of a horse collar tackle?
I wonder. But what was interesting about that is Holscher tried to come up and play it in the air, but the wind just knocked it down. It bounced in those areas where it might hit a return man and ended up being Versailles football. Instead, Griffin Bruns picks it up and tries to run to daylight and doesn't do so.
And it is a horse collar tackle, and so the Flyers will have the ball 15 yards from the spot of the foul. And that's a big-time field position swing for Marion Local.
That it is, particularly when you look at they might have had the ball right at midfield on a wet, damp night. Now they're going to get better position down to about, the 38 perhaps?
That is where the football's spotted, so is that the worst starting field position of the night for Marion Local at the plus 38?
Yeah. Got it on the 23, the 28 of Versailles, and now the 38.
Knopf in the gun, looking to throw. Gets rid of it quickly to Pullman. He'll make the catch at the 30-yard line. And he's very close to an ultimate outdoor first down. He did get 10 yards.
Did you see the when the snap came back? Knopf just looked it right into his hands. He sometimes you know where the ball's going to be. I'll catch it. My eyes are downfield. He looked that ball right into his hands that time. He's had a couple of miscues with the football. It's going to be a little short, Garrett.
Oh, so just shy.
Yep.
2nd and 1. As Knopf will go back in the gun. Hess on his right. Laws on his left. Pullman, the lone wide receiver, to the bottom of your screen. Hess, the man in motion. Knopf will keep it himself on the quarterback. Keep it to the left side. Has plenty of room to run. Inside the rule first touchdown. Trying to rule first red zone, I beg your pardon. He's shoved out of bounds just shy of the goal line.
It's a commitment tonight, isn't it? They've come out of the chute. They're going to let Knopf run the football. They're not going to worry about handoffs. They're going to get people out in front of him to move. You saw the man go in motion that time and be a blocker in front of him. He got the football down to about where are we at, the 5, 4?
I think we
See
were
where they set it down
between
at.
the 4 and the 3-yard line.
Scoreboard's waiting for the official to set it down, too. They're going to say the 2, so that's a 27-yard pickup and a first down.
So inside the rule first red zone, Flyers send Hess in motion. Will give to Laws. Off left tackle. Laws reaches for the goal line. Did he get there? No, he's down. He's just shy of the goal line. And the Tigers defense stands tough one more time.
Laws has 7 rushing touchdowns this year. This is kind of his area. He's got just 154 total yards rushing on the season. Marion Local really spreads the wealth around through their running backs, but he does have 7 rushing touchdowns on the season.
2nd and goal for the Flyers. Man in motion to the near side. They'll give to the up back. Heitkamp looking for his 2nd Burke Petroleum touchdown of the evening, and he's got it. A 1-yard touchdown run for Ethan Heitkamp, number 2 on the night, and it is 13-0 Flyers on the Holman's Insurance scoreboard.
Big boy football up front. Everybody got a hat on a hat, just tried to knock him back. And, of course, when you got somebody like Heitkamp in the backfield, 5'11", 190, he's now got 5 rushing touchdowns on the season.
Wampanoag in it for an extra point for Marion Local as Carson Bills comes on to attempt to kick it through the uprights. The gusting breeze, and it's pounced on by the Versailles Tigers. And so that Wampanoag field or extra point never got off the ground as you see that slick football bouncing one more time. 2:21 to go here in the first quarter. Marion Local extends their lead over Versailles on WOSN. Extra points and field goals tonight brought to you by Wapakoneta Ford. View their new and pre-owned inventory at wapakonetaford.net or visit them at 613 North Dixie Highway in Wapakoneta.
Your Carson Bills, the stat page is going to go out this week that you missed a PAT. And unfortunately, you didn't.
Right.
You didn't have an opportunity to kick it, but that's how it'll be in the stat book this week. 38-yard drive, 4 plays. Took a minute 24 off the clock. And here's Versailles with 2:21 to go in the opening quarter, still with the wind in their face.
And I was just going to say, I wonder what the thought process there is. Like, we just got to get to the second quarter and get the wind at our back. And maybe that is going to flip the field as much as field position, as much as momentum. It's just getting out of staring into the wind in your face.
Once again, the football goes into the end zone the third time now that Bills has kicked the football there.
So, 1st and 10 for the Tiger offense.
Athletic director here said that because of the weather, they would lose between $11,000 and $14,000 tonight because of the crowd being down. I think there's a good crowd for the way the weather is.
It's the Marion local side is.
Yeah.
There were concerns that it might look like a COVID game here at some point, but kudos to each community coming out supporting these guys on a Friday night in not the most perfect of conditions. As Francis will get the handoff and he's shoved backwards by Benton Sites. As you start to see those white jerseys start to become slightly less white.
That's the game that Benton Sites has had here in the first quarter.
Absolutely.
He's been everywhere this as far as rushing the quarterback, getting tackles at the line of scrimmage with the running back. He either deflected that screen pass the last play or at least intercepted or interrupted the view. He's had a really good quarter from his right linebacker position.
We'll get a new drive football on the field. Trying not to spot it so it doesn't sit in the wet grass and the mud all for 40 seconds. As Wilker will throw quickly to the near side as it's caught by Francis out of the backfield. Didn't get a whole lot there, and it'll be 3rd and long.
Kind of an interesting play. It's almost like just a long handoff that time. He did pitch it forward, so it'll go in the scorebook as a completion type thing. But
kind of about a yard.
It's almost like it was a two-handed chest pass in basketball just to get it out there.
The old Dr. Pepper cans there.
There you go.
Conference championship game. Two-hand chest pass.
Yeah, we wanted you to throw a football like a quarterback, and you realize you could do it a whole lot faster if you just pitched it up there. Yeah, that's a good point.
So 3rd and 8, now under a minute to go on the Holman's Insurance scoreboard here in the first quarter.
Now, if Versailles runs the football, doesn't get the first down, Marion Local calls timeout.
Wouldn't be shocked, and we do if Versailles calls a timeout.
Yeah, they did.
They didn't like something that they saw. We'll keep it here with 47.5 to go in this first quarter. And
point I was trying to make, Garrett, is they want to make Versailles punt one more time into the wind.
Yeah, no.
So if they don't pick up a first down here and it's not a pass incompletion, Marion Local calls timeout to force that punt into the wind. Big play, I think, right here for Versailles.
Absolutely, and I think you're right. I think there are very few times in a game where a timeout can lead to 6 points or 3 points or any points, and that very well could be where you've seen the history of when that football gets punted, it can hit that brick wall of wind and be the difference between you getting the football at the 35-yard line, or if they punt in the second quarter, you getting the football at your own 35-yard line.
If the Tigers can get a first down here, they got to pick up 8 yards against a very stout defense from Marion Local. If they can get 8 yards right here, that takes them to the second quarter and flips the field and the wind.
47.5 to go. 3rd and 8 for the Versailles Tigers. 5-0. Ranked number 4 in the AP poll in Division 5, Region 20. Wilker takes the chest-high snap and will look. Fires and just overthrew the intended target. Would have been enough for the ultimate outdoor first down as he was looking for Drake Arns along this near sideline. And the clock stops on an incompletion, forcing them to punt into the wind one final time here in this first quarter.
Pretty well defended that time, but the pass was long, was going to go out of bounds either way. Tried to drop it in there, but unable to. 3rd punt.
Bolin on to punt. once more. Had one blocked. Partially blocked. Gets rid of that one. Sidewinding kick grab by Holscher at his own 46-yard line. Trying to get to the open field. He's pulled down by James Schmidtmeyer at midfield. That's a nice open field tackle by the senior.
That it was. Holscher's got tremendous speed. If he gets the edge that time of taking the football, got a flag on the far side of the field. If he could take that to his left, he's got plenty of grass out there. Or good tackle that time. Actually lost a couple of yards on the return.
See what the penalty call is. I thought that might have been very close to a horse collar tackle as well. But I don't think the official from that spot would be the one to call the 5-yard face mask against Versailles.
That had to be way away from the play. Holscher's ball was caught on our side of the field. That flag came from the far side of the field.
Yeah, and he never got past the hash mark on this side.
But that will allow Marion Local to continue its string of always getting the football on the plus side of the field.
Yes, this is the worst starting field position of the night at the Versailles 45-yard line. So Marion Local looking to cap off a pretty good first quarter here. They're the first team to score in the first quarter against Versailles this season. Tigers head not allowed. A first quarter point till Marion Local scores 2 touchdowns here in the opening stanza. Knopf in the gun. Looking to throw. Goes up top to Holscher. Nearly made a circus catch. It's a tough spot for Holscher. He's got 35 receptions, 488 yards, and 8 touchdowns. Leads the MAC in all categories coming into tonight.
I think he was expecting that over his right shoulder. Instead, it went over his left. By the time he got turned around that time, even with his speed, he couldn't run into the football. I just think it's interesting to watch Knopf receive the snap from the center. He is really intent now, looking the ball into his hands.
Laser focused. And
yep.
I can imagine that the conversation is like, you can't do anything with the football until you have the football. So make sure you have the football. 3 wide receivers to Knopf's left. Hess joins him on that hip. Knopf keeps it himself. Off left tackle with room to run. Very close to an ultimate outdoor first down.
There's a flag behind it, and it's going to be a hold and bring it back.
So Marion Local going backwards.
Our viewing point for this game is on the Versailles side of the field, and about 10 orange and black referees called that down in front of us. Always nice to have help from the home crowd. But that's going to bring this one back. And for the first time in the football game, Marion Local is going to be on their own side of the field.
So this will be the first play of the game to happen in this side of the field, outside of kickoffs happening at the 40-yard line.
But that will be 10 back to their own 45, makes now 2nd and 20.
We mentioned Marion Local wanting to potentially use a timeout to get the football back with the wind at their back. They probably got a sense of urgency here, knowing what they've seen from the Versailles side of the field. They want to work with the wind at their back as much as possible. So Knopf sends Laws in motion. Will keep it himself to the near side. Has a hole, slips past one tackler, out to the 45, pulled down to the original line of scrimmage in what is likely the final play of the first quarter. In fact, the numbers will tick down, and that will do it. The Homan's Insurance scoreboard reads 13 for Marion Local, nothing for Versailles. We'll step aside and come back with second quarter action for you coming up here on WOSN. Tonight's scoreboard brought to you by Homan's Insurance, your trusted local insurance specialist. Member of the Wayne Insurance Group with 2 locations to serve you in Chickasaw and Versailles.
On my highly unofficial stat page, I've got Justin Knopf for 4 carries for 75 yards in the opening quarter. He came into the football game with 116 total yards rushing. What he's done is he's putting the football close, and they've handed it off to Heitkamp and let him finish things off.
But they've several times motioned somebody to the way he's running. Just tuck it, keep it himself. As Holscher will be the man in motion this time. And we'll sling it to Holscher behind the line of scrimmage. with some room to run up the near sideline in the first play of the second quarter. Holscher's in the open field, inside the rule first red zone, pushed out of bounds inside the 10-yard line.
Just a swing pass that time out to Holscher. He had blockers out in front of him with his speed and leg strength. He breaks a couple of tackles, then turns on the jets, and he's down the sideline.
Coming in, I wondered how Marion Local's going to get the ball to Vic Holscher, because you got to get the football to him, and probably not going to be able to do it by throwing the football downfield, and you see swing pass as he's in motion.
39-yard pickup on that play.
Laws the deep back in the I formation. Hess the wing in motion. Laws. Patient. Looking for the goal line. And he has his 8th Burke Petroleum touchdown run of the season.
Really good block that time by the up back. Heitkamp that time. He scored a couple of touchdowns.
We got a holding call.
We got a hold.
We got a holding call against Marion Local. That's the 3rd or 4th holding call of the evening against the Flyers.
And
maybe it was a little too easy for Laws.
Yeah, I see some Marion Local coaches kind of questioning why. What are we doing for a hold that we haven't been called for all season long?
Well, instead of 6 more points on the Holman's Insurance scoreboard, the ball now spotted at the 15-yard line.
A quick look at my stat page here, Garrett, on the season. Marion Local had just 13 penalties in 5 games coming into tonight, and they've had a few of them.
Laws in motion. Knopf has kept it a couple of times in this set. They'll hand off to Heitkamp. His first carry from outside about the 3-yard line of the evening goes for a couple of yards to his left.
Schmidtmeyer with the tackle. Schmidtmeyer came in with 38 tackles on the season.
Yeah, leads the team 3rd in the Midwest Athletic Conference in that category. Versailles' best rush defense in the back. Giving up 48.4 yards per game on the ground. Flyers already eclipsed that there in the first quarter.
Long look by Knopf to the sideline to get a play change.
Heitkamp to his right, Laws to his left. Laws in motion. Knopf, quarterback keeper. Trying to meander through that Versailles defense. Is cut down about the 5-yard line.
Once again, you see the block that time by number 46, Ethan Heitkamp. He goes 5'11", 190. He took on the defensive end on the right side of the formation that time and helped Knopf get to open. Now the football's down to the 5, and it's either Laws or Heitkamp time right here.
Yeah, 3rd and goal from inside the rule first red zone for the Flyers. Knopf will go under center this time. Laws the deep setback. Hess in motion. He'll turn and pitch to Laws with a bevy of blockers. Scampering to the goal line near side. Busted through one tackler. Is he in? No, he's just shy of the goal line, and it will be 4th and goal. Oh, we got another penalty flag behind the play. And another hold against Marion Local.
And I see a Coach Goodwin on the field right here staring at our head official tonight, Anthony Hampton, about what he and his staff have seen from the Flyers tonight.
Palms to the skies, asking,
"Yep,
what exactly are we doing wrong?"
Their jerseys are wet. We can't be grabbing anything. they're too slippery.
Can't hold on to anything.
And guess what Coach is going to do? It's time to have a timeout, have a discussion about this. No, I guess not. They just moved the football to that side of the field. Thought he'd called his guys over.
Instead, it'll be 3rd and goal from the 15-yard line. Still inside the Rule First red zone. Tonight's game brought to you by Rule First, the leader in rural lending. Rule First can help you live closer to what matters. So Knopf stands in the gun. Looking to roll to the near side. Pressured. Lets it fly. Looking for Holscher, who's got his 9th Burke Petroleum touchdown catch of the season.
How about that throw that time? He had a defender right in his wheelhouse. Heitkamp stepped up and tried to get a block on Francis. Didn't get a real clean look. Francis got a pretty good look at the quarterback, but not until he released it. Touchdown pass, Holscher.
Holscher's 9th touchdown catch of the season. Knopf hangs in and fires the pigskin under duress. And just like that, it's 19-0. Marion Local. Bills on for the extra point. The kick up and good. Makes it 20-0 Marion Local. 10:02 to go here in the first half on WOSN. Tonight's Marion Local premier sponsor is OPAC and Osgood for all your industrial painting, standing, and assembly needs. Call OPAC as the rain is picked up here at HB Field in Versailles. And really, we're pretty lucky inside the confines of the press box here at a great facility at Versailles. But we found out it was raining a little hard by the shrieks of horror from the fans in the stands. They were not thrilled that the rain had picked up very much.
Some serious rain for a moment. Now let's see what kind of field position that Versailles can get, and if they can get some offense going this time with the wind at their back.
Bills, a little bit of a low line drive kick. It's caught and returned by Versailles. Up the middle of the field, out to the just shy of the 30-yard line is Drake Arns, I believe. And it is by far the best starting field position of the evening for the Versailles Tigers.
Isn't that something? When you get the football on your 29-yard line, you're in the second quarter. This will be possession number 5, and your best starting field position is your own 29.
And as they start to march that way, the wind kind of died down just a little bit.
That big gust of rain came through, and it's almost like it expended a bunch of energy. And Versailles is going to have some decent weather to operate with the football in.
Yeah, the rain has let up a little bit. The wind has calmed down.
This is a huge possession, I think, for them.
Yep.
You know, Coach was preaching, let's get us to this particular part of the game. We got the wind behind our back, and they need to score. And
I believe we got a Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken timeout. That is the final timeout of the half for the Tigers. We'll step aside as well. 9:55 to go. Versailles on offense when we return here on WOSN. First down tonight brought to you by Ultimate Outdoor. Bring resort-style living to your backyard every day with a luxury outdoor space by Ultimate Outdoor.
I think that timeout, Garrett, proved how important this possession is to Coach Jones. They've used all 3 of their timeouts now. They need to get on the board with this possession.
Wilker will be in the shotgun. 3 wide receivers split out wide. And the snap past Wilker. He'll scoop it up. Rolling to the near side, will let it fly. Throws it into the first row of the bleachers.
That he did.
But
that guy about caught it.
It's a heads-up play by the junior signal caller.
Other than that, you're looking at a sack back there. He was
exactly.
He was able to get the ball up, roll out to his right a bit, and launch it into the crowd.
Made sure nobody in a white jersey caught it.
That's correct. That was a good play.
Another day.
That's exactly right. Good play by the junior quarterback.
So 2nd and 10.
Wilker was 42 of 74 with 2 interceptions coming into tonight, 609 yards and 5 touchdowns. Chase Watson has been his #1 receiver. He's got 15 catches, 230, and 3 of those touchdowns.
Yeah, leads the team in all 3 categories.
Chase wears number 12.
The handoff. And the Tiger running back is stuck in the open field. As Bryant Meyer, the big hit, the leading tackler from Marion Local, makes his presence known on the defensive side of the ball.
Got about a yard to the 30, but still looking at 3rd and 9. You know, some people say, well, you got to run against them. They're so fast. No, you got to get outside on them because they're so big. And either way you do it, they're just so solid defensively are the Marion Local Flyers.
Yeah, the assignment football really is the key there. That if you can try to turn the corner, it's going to be pretty difficult. You can try to run up the middle. It's going to be pretty difficult. They're going to make you work for whatever you get. And the Tigers trying to get something here as the pass.
Wow. Incomplete.
It is incomplete as Wilker slung it. Isaac Mullenkamp was on his back, and it was swatted right back to him as he tried to let it go. So the Tigers get a yard on that drive.
He was there with the big hit. Laws was right behind him, and Wilker took a shot that time. Marion Local thought perhaps it was a fumble, but his arm was coming forward. You talk about the Flyer defense, Garrett. They give up just 118 yards total on the season per game. In an offensive era, that's just amazing.
Yeah, they're second in the MAC in total yards in rushing yards at 50 as you get a booming punt from Bolin.
What a punt.
Inside the 10-yard line. That's a big boot from that big fella. 6'3", 220-pound senior got a boot into that one. That Marion local defense gives up 50 yards per game on the ground, 67 through the air. Second in rushing, first in the MAC through the air. So it's not just the run defense, it's the pass defense too.
And here's what I look at, Garrett. Because their offense is so efficient, they're going to give the football back to you. You're going to get a lot of possessions in the course of a game when the Marion Locals averaging 50 points a game on offense. So defensively, they got to play a lot of snaps, and they still perform very well defensively. Outstandingly coached and really good athletes.
This is the first time Marion Local will start inside their own territory, and it's at their own 7-yard line after the big boot by Leland Bolin.
Bolin was averaging just 31 yards a punt coming into tonight, and he nailed that one.
Offset backs on each hip. Holscher in motion. Hands off. Is that Laws? No, it's Hess.
Yep.
Hess had a big Friday night last week against St. Henry. 190 yards on the ground, 4 touchdowns in the week.
Touchdowns run. The week before, Holscher had 4 touchdown catches, and you think, okay, we got to take him away. And then they turn loose the running game in the form of Parker Hess.
Ethan Heitkamp going to try to turn it into a 4-touchdown night tonight, already with 2 rushing touchdowns in the first half.
6-yard pickup on first down.
Flyers coming into tonight, their low total on the season was 45 points scored. High as 71. As Andrew Pullman, the man in motion. And looks like we're going to get another Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken timeout here with 8:02 to go. Second quarter. More second quarter action coming up for you when we return on WOSN. High school football tonight on WOSN, presented in part by Layfeld Industrial Welding Supplies, with locations in Coldwater and in Greenville. Flyers going to work 2nd and 4, I beg your pardon, with 8:02 to go.
Saw him moving Pullman around, and by the time he got to that, they wanted to get the correct play call in. Coach Goodman called his second timeout.
Holscher, the man in motion. Knopf running to his right, slips one tackle into the open field and off to the races. One man to beat. Knopf down the far numbers. And he turns on the Jets, and it's another Burke Petroleum touchdown from 87 yards out for the senior signal caller.
How about that? They sent all of their wide receivers to the left side of the formation, left them kind of alone on the right side. They got a good block at the point of attack, and he turned the Jets on, went 87 yards that time.
Knopf comes into tonight with 116 yards on the ground and 1 touchdown. 87 yards on that one play and a Burke Petroleum touchdown as the Flyers up 26-0.
Well, you knew they made a commitment to get the football in his hands and let him run with it tonight. He has done outstanding.
Carson Bills on for the extra point. The hold down. The Wapakoneta Ford extra point through the uprights and good. And it is 27-0 Marion Local with 7:47 to go here in this second quarter. Flyers have really not been shy, Mark, about what they're trying to do offensively. They have put the football in Justin Knopf's hand as he has rewarded them handsomely here in this first half.
And just did a really, really good job with how they've done things. That's 2 plays, 93 yards, took a minute off the clock. I think back to last year, Knopf made a run in the playoffs and had a couple of games like this, or had one game like this. And after the game, Coach Goodwin said, we didn't know he could run because we don't let our middle school quarterbacks run. Well, guess what? He's got wheels.
You saw him all on display there.
You saw Drake Arns trying to track him down. He couldn't catch up with him. So he's got some wheels that time. Just one more weapon in the offensive arsenal that Coach has got.
You talk about spreading the wealth between Hess and Heitkamp and Laws and Camden Eifert, I beg your pardon. I always call him Aiden, I'm sorry. Camden Eifert. And then you see the quarterback can do that.
He can do that.
Well,
we don't need to risk a handoff on a wet, damp night. We'll just let you carry it, son.
And it has gone well for the Flyers in this first half. Bills to send it away. A high end-over-end kick. Caught. Well, dropped. Scooped back up by the Tigers. Running to the far side, and that's going to be tough starting field position for the orange and black.
I think of who was down there that made the hit, but when he fumbled the football, it might have been number 22, Derek Kanapke, but got down there and then blew him up so he couldn't get any yardage after fumbling the football on the catch.
Tigers going back to work now. Got to get something going here in this first half.
Put the football down on the 11-yard line, looks like.
Versailles comes into tonight 5-0, ranked number 4 overall in the Associated Press poll, Division 5. Flyers showed blitz, now back out of it. Now they will come off the edge. The handoff to Francis. Laws in on the stop, as was Ethan Heitkamp.
Might have picked up a couple. Those big guys up front that you see. Number 52, Isaac Mullenkamp is in there. Of course, 46 is also plays running back in the form of Ethan Heitkamp. Plays a really good linebacker position. 55 is Lincoln Stockler. We've talked about Laws a couple of times this evening. They're just so good up front.
Benton Seitz had a big first quarter.
He did.
7 minutes to go here in the second quarter on the Holman's Insurance scoreboard. Wilkert looks to throw, has some time, will go deep to the near side. Griffin Bruns trying to hawk it down, can't. And the pass is incomplete.
Trying to get to Jace Watron that time. He really aired that ball out, hoping his very speedy Jace Watron could run underneath it. 15 catches, 230 yards, and 3 scores for Jace coming into tonight, but overthrew him and threw it out of bounds.
So 3rd and long once more for the home-standing Tigers.
And you talked about assignment football. The defensive back was running right with him. He wasn't alone running down the field. He had help coming from the safety position as well. Just very well schooled defensively.
Tigers told us coming in they had to pick up the blitz and avoid some turnovers. They've done that for the most part here in the first half. Just haven't been able to move those chains with the ultimate outdoor first down. As Wilker will throw to the near side and nearly intercepted on the deflected pass. Laws was trying to pluck it out of the air. Couldn't, and it'll be 4th and long.
Tried to run a screen pass. They brought the left guard across the formations, hoping he could get a block out there, but the ball got off his shoulders pads, and again, Laws almost was able to pick it off.
And we didn't get a chance really to talk about this. The last punt from Bolin went all the way down to the 7-yard line, and the Tigers had to feel pretty good about pushing Marion Local back, and instead, Knopf goes 87 yards for the touchdown 2 plays later as Bolin gets another nice punt away. Caught by Holscher at the 50-yard line. Picks it up after the drop, and he's collided with in the open field and pushed to the turf. Bergman there on the hit.
Well, when you have 6 possessions and you have punted 6 times against this Marion Local defense, Versailles just can't get anything going offensively. It's still half of this quarter left.
And when you say that, 6 times, we've punted 6 times, essentially what you're saying is you know what, Marion Local beat us. We didn't beat ourselves.
That would be correct.
We didn't turn the football over. And there are a lot of teams that are going to be in a situation where, you know what, Marion Local got us off the field and 3 and out. Holscher's in motion. They'll hand off up the middle as Camden Eifert got very close to an ultimate outdoor first down.
Started on the plus side of the field again. We got a man down.
Got an injured Tiger. Can't see the number, but with 6:22 to go on the Holman's Insurance scoreboard, we will step aside as the Tigers tend to their injured defender here on WOSN. Tonight's game brought to you in part by Rule First, the leader in rural lending. Rule First can help you live closer to what matters. Flyers trying to get to that Rule First red zone. Ball to 32-yard line on 2nd and 1. Their offense continues to go to work here in this first half, leading 27-0 on the Holman's Insurance scoreboard.
That was Schmidtmeyer who was injured, but he was able to come off the field in his own power and actually moving pretty good. Look out.
Off to Holscher in the open field. Is corralled out of bounds But he is inside the rule first red zone with another big catch for the Flyer O.
Just kind of a delay pattern that came across the middle of the formation. Safeties were deep, and he was able to catch the ball off at full speed. And you got a track guy like Holscher with great speed, catches the football like that.
Already has one Burke Petroleum touchdown here in the first half. Halfway through quarter number 2.
Football's about the 9-yard line.
Yes, right at the 9-yard line. As maybe the rain has completely stopped here at HB Holefield. I think we are somewhat dry conditions, at least in the air, as Laws the handoff. He is hit by Schmidtmeyer, who came off the field.
Yeah, good to see him back out there. Couple-yard pickup on first down for Laws.
So gain of maybe a yard and a half there. So inside this rule first red zone where the Flyers have had plenty of success in the first half. Tigers trying to stiffen their backs and get off the field without surrendering any more points. As Knopf joined the backfield with Hess to his left, Laws, Heitkamp to his right. Eifert to his right, I beg your pardon. Sends a man in motion. Turns, fires. Caught by Pullman. No, incomplete.
Good stick by the DB that time. I believe it was Arns.
I think you're right.
Looked like a catch was going to be made. Instead, he got him pretty good in the back and was unable to complete the pass, thanks to the very good defensive play by Arns.
So it's 3rd and goal from the 7-yard line. We'll see what the Flyers dial up. Probably 4-down territory, I would imagine.
Well, all the umbrellas are down, Garrett, so I'm thinking you're right. I think the rain has stopped.
Winds really died down, too.
Of course, Versailles is saying, why did the rain die down when we had the ball?
Knopf keeping himself with some blockers. Tries to run through a defender. Is cut down just shy of the goal line. And it will be 4th and goal for Marion Local.
Time you saw number 59, Kyle Ungren, get out and get a block on the end on the left side of the formation. Drove him a long way.
So the ball at the 1-yard line, they have liked Ethan Heitkamp in this situation already. 2 Burke Petroleum touchdowns on the evening here in this first half.
I think that's what he tells Knopf. Look, you're the quarterback. You get it down there, and I'm going to run the football in from here.
I formation, Hess the deep back. They'll turn around and hand it to Hess, and he'll power into the end zone for another Burke Petroleum touchdown. Hess's 6th of the year.
1-yard run, 41-yard drive, and they do so in 6 plays.
Touchdown tonight brought to you by Burke Petroleum, now offering propane for residential, farm, commercial, industrial users. Burke Petroleum, dependable, available. 800-776-3097.
2 minutes and 6 seconds come off the clock to go those 6 plays and 41 yards.
Carson Bills on for the Wapakoneta Ford extra point. The kick through the uprights and good. Makes it 34-0 Flyers on the Holman's Insurance scoreboard here on WOSN. Extra points tonight brought to you by Wapakoneta Ford. View their pre-owned and new inventory at wapakonetaford.net or visit them at 613 North Dixie Highway in Wapakoneta. 34-0 Marion Local. The lead over Versailles here in the first half. Flyers coming in 5-0. So do the Tigers. Marion Local, the number 1 ranked team in Division 7. Meanwhile, Versailles, number 4 ranked team in Division 5. Kick scooped up by the Tigers short of the goal line. And a big hit laid down by who other than Benton Seitz, having a big first half here on the defensive side of the ball.
He has really had a good opening half. He had some serious defensive plays in the opening quarter. That was a big hit right there. What looked like a little bit of room to run. I like how Marion Local uses first-line guys on their special teams.
Well, I was just about to say, Benton Seitz, you see the athleticism on the defensive side of the ball on special teams. offensively, they've got so many weapons. He can't even get on the field.
That's
He
right.
can't get on the field on offense. That it probably just frees him up to spend all his energy on defense. But can't really get a lot of run on the offensive side of the ball because they got so many great running backs, so many great wide receivers.
6'2", 205 senior.
I formation for the Tigers. They'll hand it off to Francis, and he is stopped behind the line of scrimmage for a loss by a bevy of white shirts.
Yeah, they pulled the two guys on the left side of the offense. Still couldn't get away from. I think it was number 55 was in there. Ungren was in there too. Stockman was in there. Pulled a couple guys and still couldn't create space.
So a loss of 3 on the carry.
Eifert just came in to play linebacker.
Clock continuing to tick, under 3:40 to go in this first half on the Homeland's Insurance scoreboard. Wilker, play action. Pressured, throws one up for grabs in the middle of the field, and it's nearly picked off and dropped at the last moment. Everman had his hands on it as he came to the turf.
Tried to get Chase Mon in that time. The safety was there. Also, you mentioned that the two defensive backs right on top of the football. In fact, Flyers had a better shot to football perhaps than Monin did.
And Ryan Holman had the football in his hand. Holman with 3 interceptions on the season to lead Marion Local. Almost had his 4th right there. Neither side has turned the football over here in the first half, despite the blustery conditions, despite the wet weather.
A couple of nearly ones, but didn't have any yet. Trips left. See what they can come up with.
3rd and 13. Wilker will go deep, near side. Looking for Watron. Can't connect. There's Bruns on the coverage. Watron laying out, giving all the effort he can. Couldn't snag it. And it'll be 4th and long for the Tigers.
Griffin Bruns right there with him. Everman was coming over from his safety position as well. Just kind of aired it out, hoping you could make a play or maybe get a PI. Instead, you're going to have to punt again for the 7th time in the opening half.
Bolin has had punts on each end of the spectrum. One that hit that wind when it was still blowing so hard, barely got to the line of scrimmage, and then another that went about 60 yards. Still got a high punt, short, caught by Holscher, who makes the slide and catch on his knees at the 41-yard line or so. 3:15 to go. Marion Local has one Lee's Famous Recipe chicken timeout to work with.
And even with the wind, supposedly, although it kind of has died down here, still Marion Local is going to get great field position. Their defense has been so sound. That was not a bad punt. Holscher made a nice play on the football, but they're going to get the football on the plus side again.
And they tell you, if you don't catch a football, it's going to cost us 15 yards.
15 yards.
He made the slide and catch.
So I'm looking through my play sheet here. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the 6th time they've gotten the ball on the plus side of the field.
Man. Talk about that field position battle when you've got that going for you as Knopf rolls to the near side. It's caught by Bruns in the flat. Brought down by a host of Tigers is Ross Francis in on the stop initially for Versailles.
But the half that Knopf's had, he's thrown the football well. He's ran the football extremely well tonight. Good 7-yard pickup right there.
Yeah, Knopf had 70 yards before he had an 87-yard touchdown run. So having a nice night on the ground thus far. 2nd and 3 upcoming. Laws to his left, Hess to his right. Knopf rolling. Now will fire. Looking for Holscher deep. Put it right in the breadbasket. What a pitch and catch. A 35-yard touchdown. The 10th Merck Petroleum touchdown catch of the year for Vic Holscher.
Garrett, when he let that ball go, I was sure he had overthrown him.
I'm right there with
That ball was headed out of the end zone, and Holscher just turned on the jets and tracked it down, slid and caught the ball so he didn't go out of the back of the end zone. That was an incredible play.
Put it perfectly. I was right there with you. I thought, oh, you got a man and just overthrew him. We just talked about how well he's played. Nope, put it right in the breadbasket. 35-yard pitch and catch. It's 40-0 after the Burke Petroleum touchdown. And now Bill's on for the Wapakoneta Ford extra point. It's through the uprights and good. Make it 41-0 Flyers. With 2:28 to go on the Holman's Insurance scoreboard here in the first half on WOSN. Tonight's premier sponsor for Marion Local is OPAC and Osgood for all of your industrial painting, staining, and assembly needs. Call OPAC. 41-0 Flyers on the Holman's Insurance scoreboard. Carson Bills tee the football up at the 40-yard line.
Holscher, of course, has been on 2 straight state championship track teams that have won championships for Marion Local. He showed his speed right there.
The football pounced on at the 25-yard line.
I'll bet the guys on the kickoff team went to Carson Bills and said, look, we're tired of running down here. Would you just kind of squib it down there so we don't have to run all the way down there?
I bet they're going to fall on it. It's kind of sloppy out there tonight. So, ball at the 26-yard line.
You think about it, Garrett, what a really good play. We played so sound defensively. Let's don't give them a chance to break one on a kickoff. Let's just squib it down there. We'll let them have the football at the 25-yard line, and we'll defend them. I think that's a really good, smart play.
So here comes Ethan Wilker one more time, leading the Versailles offense. Came in tonight with just over 600 yards passing, 5 touchdowns, 2 INTs, bunch formation to his left. As he'll look to throw over the middle of the field. Threw it just a little high, and Cale Nagel nearly had the first interception of the game for the Flyers.
Well, Cale's going to be upset with himself that time. The ball had some steam on it, and the 745-pound defensive back had to go through his arms.
I have a friend that played defensive back and used to tell me that it's almost like a subconscious of like, I'm not supposed to have the football.
Really?
And so you almost drop it because like, oh, I'm not supposed to have this. I'm playing defense. The guys who can bust through that, they make a lot of money.
They make a lot of money on Sundays, don't they? Well, now on Saturdays too.
That's true. Sometimes don't make money that they think they're supposed to get. Francis, the carry from the I formation, he got popped as he got past the original line of scrimmage there.
Picked up about 4, though. That was a pretty good pickup on second down.
Well,
as they unpile.
I was just going to say, we're unpiling the bodies there. Benton Seitz in on the stop for Marion Local. Bring up 3rd and long, under 2 minutes to go on Holman's Insurance scoreboard.
Football's at the 28-yard line, 3-yard pickup. I thought he was closer to the 30, but the defense closed so rapidly, which is kind of a hallmark of the team that we see this year wearing white and gold.
3rd and 7, I formation once more as Wilker goes under center. They'll send a man in motion, pitch to the near side. A little bit of room to run for Kanapke. It's Landon Kanapke.
Gets a good round of applause here from the home crowd.
As the ultimate outdoor first down. Is that the first ultimate outdoor first down of the night?
I think it is. I was going to quickly look back through my play sheet. I don't see another one, and they don't do so until there's a minute 30 left to go here in the opening half. That's a 12-yard pickup for a first down, though.
So the Tigers will go back under center. I formation, Bergman the man in motion. They'll run it the opposite way with Francis. Oh, no, it is Kanapke.
Yeah, flag behind it.
Got a gain of 1 before that yellow hanky comes in, and it's a hold against the home team.
You know, Garrett, one of the things I do is I contact all of our coaches for stats and information about their teams every week. And a couple of weeks ago when Marion Local played St. Henry, I made the mistake of wearing my red pullover, WSN pullover, to the game. And Coach Goodwin got a photo from his sister and said, don't do that again. So this week when I requested stats and information from Coach, I got wardrobe information from him. You may wear blue this week, or you may wear white this week, or you may gold this week.
I saw the note that said, feel free to wear blue, white, or gold.
Yeah.
And I have a blue and yellow checkered polo that I almost wore, and I thought, I can't do it. I can't be that partial to one team or the other as the Tigers have less than a minute to go here in the first half. They'll play action pass coming to the near side. Wilker tries to connect with Chase Monin along the near sideline. Couldn't. And that will stop the clock on 1st and long.
He got number 72, Caden Starkey, out in front of him to knock down a defender, give him a chance to throw the football, but it went wide.
2nd and 20. Ball's at the 30-yard line. Got to get to midfield for another ultimate outdoor first down.
I was wondering because, of course, Versailles is orange and black, and I wore my black WN jacket into the stadium, and I hid very quickly so that Coach Goodman wouldn't see me.
Well, I would think, I don't have a bevy of colors for my rain protection. They'll turn, pitch to the near side. Francis pulled down from behind as Ethan you're right, Camden Eifert there quickly.
That's the play that picked up 12 just a moment ago, and Eifert said not this time.
Marion Local with a 41-0 lead has the one Lee's Famous Recipe chicken timeout in their back pocket.
They do not have to run a play if they would choose not to.
The play clock did not start for less than 25, and it looks like the Tigers.
It still hasn't started.
Might be content.
Of course, there's no need to because it was under 20, so.
Yeah, I mean, they called a play, have gone through the process of calling a play. And they will run one more. Nope. Did we not get it off?
Did not.
They did not get it off, and that will do it for the first half of play. A productive one for Marion Local. On the Holman's Insurance scoreboard, the Flyers lead 41-0 over the Versailles Tigers. We'll step aside, come back, get you your Lima Chevrolet Cadillac halftime report when we return here on WOSN. Tonight's halftime report brought to you by Lima Chevrolet Cadillac, the area's premier Chevrolet and Cadillac dealer, serving Lima for over 100 years. We are proud to call this home. It's 41-0. Marion Local leads Versailles here at the halftime break. I'm Garrett Seawright, joined alongside with Mark Shine. And Mark, things went pretty well for Marion Local in that first half, I think you could say.
I would think our good friend Rick Kramer was reciting some stat numbers to us. He has Marion Local with 322 yards in the first half to 16 for the Versailles Tigers. Versailles had just one first down in the first half, and they punted 6 times, and one possession we just had at the end of the half would have obviously ended with them in possession of the football. So it's not been a good half for them, but I'm not sure it's because Versailles wasn't playing well. I just think there's so much talent on this Marion Local team that they just dominated. Taking the win in the opening quarter was a key thing for them, and they just dominated the game.
No, and they got off to that great start where they had the football in Versailles territory time and time again. When you start at the 23-yard line or the third, at one point starting at the 35-yard line was the worst starting field position they had. That's going to set you up for success.
Well, their defense is so good, and of course we've talked multiple times now that they forced the wind, and their defense just kept them on the plus side of the field the entire opening quarter, and then obviously they made things pay for it. But then they showed their athletic skills as well. The touchdown pass that Holscher just caught a moment ago, that's an athletic skill that not many kids could do in high school right now. He was outstanding, and the pass was good from Knopf as well. What do you say about Benton Sykes? What the game he's had in the opening half defensively, there's just not much Versailles could do to get it going right now.
No, you're absolutely correct. Justin Knopf, 7 carries for 170 yards in that first half. As Marion Local has a 41-0 lead over Versailles on the Holman's Insurance scoreboard. This has been the Lima Chevrolet Cadillac halftime report, the area's premier Chevrolet and Cadillac dealer, serving Lima for over 100 years. They're proud to call this home. Second half action coming up for you when we return on WOSN. Tonight's scoreboard brought to you by Holman's Insurance, your trusted local insurance specialist. Member of the Wayne Insurance Group with 2 locations to serve you in Chickasaw and Versailles. 41-0 here in the second half, about to get underway as Marion Local will get the football to begin the second half, and we'll start this second half with a running clock on that Holman's Insurance scoreboard with the Flyers leading 41-0.
Well, the ever-accurate Weather Channel says the wind is now down to 10 miles per hour right now. It is currently dry here in the stadium, although if you look at the radar, there's rain on both sides of us, so we'll see how long that stays. Certainly field conditions are wet, but at least the atmospheric conditions are not as bad as they were in the opening half.
For my big boy job, I work in media consulting, and we do a lot of research about what news sources Democrats favor and what news sources Republicans favor, and each side cannot agree on anything other than they both trust the Weather Channel.
Do they really?
Weather Channel is the most trusted source of cable news. Griffin Bruns with the return up the far side, out into about the 43-yard line. And luckily, the Weather Channel told us it was going to be kind of a nasty evening, and it was at the start. It's kind of a nice fall Friday night.
Really is right now. My family, the gardeners in my family, like AccuWeather. So we check all the sources, but the gardeners like AccuWeather.
You get a consensus between the Weather Channel.
It's like
and
the
AccuWeather.
polls for the for the presidential thing. We put about 6 polls together.
You get a Quinnipiac and a Monmouth.
Sure.
And first and 10 for the Flyers. First team offense still on the field. As Justin Knopf stands in the shotgun, 170 rushing yards in the first half, including an 87-yard touchdown run. Tries to connect with Andrew Pullman, can't corral it. And we mentioned, it's a nice fall evening now for those sitting in the stands. The football players are wearing wet jerseys with wet pants and playing with wet footballs and wet towels on wet, squishy grass. It's a nice night now in the stands. For the football players, it's probably getting a little chilly out there with their soaked clothes.
I thought that ball came out of Knopf's hands funny that time. It kind of dropped down to a sidearm almost, a little bit different than his usual throwing motion.
Hands off to Parker Hess with some room to run. Hess into the open field with one man to beat, and he is pulled to the turf just past the Rule First red zone, and that's another big scamper for the Marion local Flyers.
Good blocking on the right side of the formation. We saw Hess with 4 touchdown runs last week. I thought he had another one right there, but good job of tracking him down. Ends up with a big gain and a first down.
So the Flyers into the Rule First red zone.
41-yard pickup according to the scoreboard.
First and 10 from the 17. Hess a big week last week against St. Henry with the 4 rushing touchdowns. Takes the carry once more. Maybe a gain of a yard. Didn't get much farther there as the Tiger defense, that front line of Luke Kaiser, Travis Dirksen, Andrew Kaiser, and Leland Boland making the stop.
Official marked the ball to 16, so we'll give him a 1-yard pickup.
So it'll bring up 2nd and 9. Flyers with a 41-0 lead. Knopf in the gun with Hess to his right. Looks right, puts jump ball up for grabs, and he make the touchdown catch. It's a Burt Petroleum touchdown catch for Andrew Pullman. His 3rd of the season. That connection still open, and that makes it 47-0 Flyers.
Defensive back couldn't pick the ball up in the air. Holman was able to track it down. Pullman was able to track it down and see the ball in the air, make an adjustment to it.
Bills now on for the extra point. The snap back, the kick up, and that Wapakoneta forward extra point through the uprights and good. Touchdowns tonight brought to you by Burt Petroleum, now offering propane for residential, farm, commercial, and industrial users. Burt Petroleum, dependable, available. 800-776-3097. And the extra point presented by Wapakoneta Ford. View their new and pre-owned inventory at wapakonetaford.net or visit them at 613 North Dixie Highway in Wapakoneta.
So 3:15 off the clock, Garrett. 4 plays, 58 yards.
And Flyers really kind of just start right back off where they started that first half. And just absolute machine and a buzzsaw on that offensive side of the football.
Well set up by the really nice run in there by Hess.
And we mentioned, how many different weapons Marion Local has. Heitkamp had 2 first-half touchdowns. Pullman now with a touchdown. Hess a long run there. Knopf a long touchdown run.
Yep.
They are if you put it into basketball terms, you can't guard one guy and make somebody else beat you. You got to make about 5 or 6 different guys on the offensive side of the ball beat you.
And, the one thing we ought to point out, we have a time, Garrett, is how good that offensive line is. Luke Kunkler wears number 58. Kyle Ungren wears 59. They're the 2 tackles. Derek Gresham and Thomas Winter are the guards. They were 66 and 72. Colton Arms is the center. Then you think about the tight end and all the blocks that he gets. That's Oliver Hillsman, who wears 86, and those guys are really good up front.
Yeah, they are. As a squib kick from Bills. Scooped up. Watron steps out of bounds. Or I beg your pardon, that's Monin. No, it was Watron.
Get the football up around the 23-yard line.
So Ethan Wilker will go back to work, leading the Tiger offense, the 6'1", 175-pound junior. 5 touchdown passes coming into tonight, 2 touchdown runs. Ross Francis with 4 touchdowns on the season from the running back spot. They'll line up in the shotgun. Wilker quickly fires to Watron, connects. The leader in receptions, yards, and touchdowns for Versailles coming into tonight. Makes another reception there.
Get something positive, little out pattern. Pick up 5 on first down.
Yeah, just one of those. If Marion Local's going to play off the ball, well, can't go broke taking a profit. Should get 4 yards there on first down. Same formation for Versailles. 3 wide receivers to Wilker's left. He'll hand off. Bergman met in the backfield.
Just nowhere to run that time. The defensive people up front were so good.
No gain there as Bryant Meyer in on the stop. He'll bring up 3rd and 6 for the Tigers. So we already approached the midway point here of the Holman's Insurance scoreboard in the 3rd quarter.
Look about where we're headed in the future. Marion Local has games next week at Fort Recovery at home. Then they go to Anna. They finish up the season week 9 with Minster at home, and week 10 they go to Coldwater. I'll give you Versailles schedule here in just a moment.
Same formation. Wilker pump fakes to Watron, will come down the near side and just a bit long, looking for Watron as Griffin Bruns was on the coverage.
He and Cale Arns were right there with him.
That first completion of the drive, by the way, snapped an 0 for 8 streak of Winter through the air. So tried to build a little bit of momentum, get a little bit positive yardage, and unfortunately weren't able to pick up the ultimate outdoor first down. And now Leland Bolin will punt for the Tigers. A high, short kick. Bounces at midfield, takes a Versailles bounce, and is downed by Caden Starkey of Versailles.
So next week, Anna will be here to play the Versailles Tigers. Then they go to Minster, and they have Coldwater at home before finishing up at St. Henry.
Awful lot of clean jerseys coming on the field for the Marion Local Flyers.
Jared, I got a question for you. About this time of year, I start looking at all league things, all those types of things. I got 4 quarterbacks who might well be the best quarterback in the conference this year, between Shappy at Anna, Knopf here, Blockberger at Coldwater, and Steffi at Minster.
Yep.
Yeah, pick one of those guys as quarterback of the year in this conference.
Well, when I was putting together my prep sheets for this week, I thought I would guess, I mean, this is just a gut feel. I don't have the feeling of the coaches. There's a big rumble up the middle for Ben Meyer, running back in the game for the first time, that I would think maybe Brogan Steffi might be the leader in the clubhouse. And then I thought, you know what? Vic Holscher might be the offensive player of the year in the Midwest Athletic Conference.
Agreed. There are players like that. I'm just thinking from the quarterback position. Who will be the, first-string quarterback when the all-MAC team comes out? Because 2 of those guys are going to get left off first or second team and would be first or second team in most other conferences around.
Absolutely. And I don't know. I have thoughts on how the Midwest Athletic Conference does first team all MAC in some other sports, but you can get an athlete. They have the athlete position in football, which I think is a good thing. Derek Kanafke with the carry for Marion Local. But you're right. Not all 4 of those guys can be
That's
first
correct.
team all conference. I would think Steffi and Blockberger might be, but that's a tough call to make for the coaches.
for
Because Knopf
one thing,
Knopf is great
really
through
good
the air with his legs.
What we found is tonight they allowed him to run the football, but they are so well balanced he doesn't have to throw the ball 30 times a game and build up stats in that particular area.
It's almost one of those, like, you can't use the stats because it's not necessarily fair, because there were 6 minutes to go in the third quarter, and Justin Knopf's night is done.
You're right.
Against the number 4 team in the state, Division 5.
A team that's given up 7 points a game until tonight.
Yeah, hadn't given up a point in the first quarter. Marion Local comes in, puts 13 on the board as Meyer gets another carry. Braden Mesher, the junior quarterback, now in for Marion Local, triggering the offense. Yeah, there is a tough decision to make for the head coaches of the MAC to decide who's first-team quarterback, who's first-team athlete, and who doesn't get those honors.
Last year, the athlete was James Niemeyer. Of course, he's been out injured this year. They hope to get him back at playoff time. But so probably missing enough games. He's not going to be in that particular role this year, so who will be? Good point.
Mesher, play action fake. Has some time. Rolling. Makes one man miss to the 30-yard line. Going to be marked actually a little behind that.
Mesher did a really nice job that time. Rather than force the ball into coverage somewhere, just tucked it down and picked up what he could. Be a little short of the first down.
Luke Everman will come on now for Marion Local on 4th and 1. Everman listed as a tight end, 6'4", 185 pounds.
It's like people talk about, well, the guy who has the most tackles in the conference should be the defensive player of the year. Well, that just means you're on the field a whole lot.
Yeah.
Obviously, you have to be good to lead the league in tackles, but you've also had many opportunities that other people don't have.
And sometimes those stats can be somewhat deceiving of, if you're the safety for somebody.
Yeah, they stopped them, didn't they?
As the carry went to, I believe, Nolan Eckstein. No, it went to Derek Kanapke, and Kanapke stopped behind the line of scrimmage.
Used to see Colin Carpenter, the head football coach at Bluffton University, and we talked, and he had a stat called JOP. JOP stood for jump on pile. So your buddy's got everybody tackling, you run in and jump on the pile. He kept a stat of that.
How many JOPs you got?
Good stop by Versailles that time.
It is. Especially on 4th and 1 where you feel like, it's probably an inevitability that they're going to get the first down. The Tigers hanging tough here in this third quarter. Less than a minute to go on the Holman's Insurance scoreboard. Here's the handoff to the up back. On the fullback, is that James Schmidtmeyer back in the game? No, it is number 40 for Versailles. It's Cole Brewer, a 5'9" sophomore, getting his first run of the game. Tigers, I beg your pardon, do have to snap it one more time here in this third quarter.
It's one thing, obviously we know why the running clock has been instituted, but it does take playing time away from your bench guys.
Wilker under center in the I formation. Hands off once more to Brewer. And that will do it for the third quarter of play. Marion Local tacks on another touchdown. They lead 48-0 after 3. You're on WOSN. High school football tonight on WOSN, brought to you in part by Layfeld Industrial and Welding Supplies. Locations in Coldwater and in Greenville. And tonight's Marion Local premier sponsor is OPAC and Osgood. For all your industrial painting, staining, and assembly needs, call OPAC.
Trying to get the clock set right here. It's a minute 20 instead of 12.
Just forgot
there
a
we
zero.
go.
There it goes. So the Tigers, 3rd and 1. And they will hand off and have the ultimate outdoor first down on the carry. Is that Blake Henry, maybe?
Trying to catch a number on it. Looks like 25. Is that accurate?
Isaac Batty.
And he's going to come out. Actually, I believe it was 26 when he got to the sideline.
26. So Blake
Henry, you were correct. My mistake. Good 5-yard pickup that time for him.
But it moves the chains.
It did. You know Versailles would like to get on the scoreboard.
Absolutely. Just to get a little bit momentum as they get set for next week. They'll turn and fire. Catch made. Shy of the first down sticks, but it's across the midfield stripe.
Picked up about 6 on that play.
Chase Mana, the 6'2", 150-pound wide receiver, makes the grab. Drake Arns will run the play in for the Tigers, facing second and about 3. Wilker will be in the shotgun. Flyers look like they're showing blitz. We'll bring it. And the handoff snuffed out by the Flyer D. Nolan Eckstein, Derek Kanapke over there on the stop for the Flyers.
Defense just beat the offensive lineman up on that side of the formation. Left side for defense, right side for offense. Nowhere to run that time. Actually lost about a yard.
So 3rd and 4, and the I formation. Wilker under center. Flyers inching up towards the line of scrimmage. Wilker will turn towards the sidelines to get further instructions. 10 seconds on the play clock. As he tries to keep it himself for the ultimate outdoor first down, he's marked shy of that marker.
You could see both linebackers were going to come from outside the guard area, so hoping to get open up the middle. He did pick up a couple to make it a short 4th down.
It will be 4th and just over a yard. Offense stays on the field for Versailles here in this 4th quarter.
They need to get inside the 41-yard line here, so it's about a yard and a half. And they brought Francis in, I think, to carry the football.
Yep, Francis with the dirty jersey dotting the I. He'll take the handoff, running left, met immediately in the backfield, tried to slip out of the second tackle, couldn't do it. Camden Eifert in on the stop, as was Eddie Peppelman. And they force a turnover on downs as the Flyer defense gets a stop.
And I am really glad that you called Camden Eifert because I was all ready to say Aiden. I'm like you. I do it. I've got that young man Brant Burned in there, and Caden's had so many good plays. You think you'd have it the other way around by now.
That's my. He's played so well, and that's I've always felt bad for. I have a younger brother who I know probably countless times who's been, are you Garrett? No. And so I'm conscious of that. He's a fine high school linebacker and fine high school running back. Actually, their leading rusher on the season, as he deserves to be called by his right name. The carry there for Marion Local.
See both guys getting lots of guys in the game right now. Trading new bodies in almost every play.
No substitution for action on a Friday night in front of some big crowds for both sides. Mesher will go under center. Mesher carried the football the last drive, made him the 8th ball carrier of the day for Marion Local. We'll hand off to the fullback, and the Tiger defense is there. Whole host of orange shirts ready for that run up the middle by Ben Meyer.
I think the initial contact was by Bolin, I think. Wheeling on his defensive line position. 2 plays, no gain. Makes it 3rd down.
3rd and 9.5. Flyers will come back in the I formation. Derek Kanapke, the deep back, the 5'11", 175-pound junior. Flyers trying to get the Tigers to jump off sides. Mesher rolling to the near side. We'll let it fly. Penalty flag thrown as the pass incomplete. Intended target was Cale Arns.
I think number 46 that time, who was Brant Patton, came through the defender before he was able. Nope. Bad call, Garrett. That's banned downfield.
Ineligible man.
So it was
downfield.
actually a very well-defended play that time. He knocked the football away before the intended receiver could secure it and did so legally.
6:15 to go here in the fourth quarter. And we'll get a dry football. We'll step aside here on WOSN. Landon Kanapke back in the game for the Versailles Tigers on 1st and 10. So we approach 2 minutes to go on the Holman's Insurance scoreboard. The handoff up the center. And the scrum continuing to push forward. Tigers might be out of it on the scoreboard. Oh, we got a couple of helmets locked together here. As Luke Kaiser and I'm not certain, 28 maybe, Landon Minton had their face masks all locked together, had to each take one off. It's one of the more awkward spots where you're like, let go. I can't. Let go. You let go.
Nice 9-yard pickup on that scrum that time.
Yeah, and really no fight. Yeah. The Tigers not giving up there, shoving the pile forward for a 9-yard gain. As we approach 1 minute to go. Versailles under center, tough snap to handle. Able to handle it. Got the ultimate outdoor first down. Did the Tiger running back before he shoved backwards.
Garrett, I was on an elliptical today, and field hockey was on the Big Ten Network. Have you watched field hockey? They got a croquet ball, and they hit it with sticks.
And your back's got to hurt.
Oh, my goodness.
I mean, maybe they're just not as old as I am.
I don't know the sport, but what I would call a corner kick in soccer.
Yeah.
All the defenders are in the goal. And when the ball is passed in front of it, they all chase directly at the girl with a stick who's going to hit that ball. I was like, are you kidding me?
You know that's a croquet ball.
That's a croquet ball coming off a hockey stick.
1st and 10. Turn and pitch. Looking for some room to run.
And unlike ice hockey, most of them appear to still have all their teeth.
Well, yeah, which you would think would be backwards, that you got basically a small bowling ball coming at you. You might lose one here or there. That's probably the final carry of the game there for Landon Kanapke.
And speaking of a bowling ball, that's kind of what Marion Local was this evening. They just come in here and rolled over a very good Versailles football team.
Oh, you couldn't be more correct. 48-0 win for the Marion Local Flyers as they put one touchdown on the board here on the Holman's Insurance scoreboard in the second half. And Marion Local got started early, got started off, and Versailles hadn't given up a first quarter point all season. Marion Local puts 13 on the board in the first couple of minutes and roll to a 48-0 win. And we talked about, it felt like almost as if the Flyers embraced the elements here this evening.
You know, I think that's very accurate, Garrett, because they came out realizing the wind and the conditions that they were going to have, and they took the wind in the opening quarter, and they forced the ball deep against Versailles multiple times. They scored multiple times in the opening quarter. It set things up multiple times in the first quarter. And although ultimately I think it's proven that Marion Local was the better football team, by that coaching move, they were able to get off such a great start and really never gave Versailles a chance.
No, you're absolutely right. Flyers dominate en route to a 48-0 win here over the Versailles Tigers. Great setup here at HB Whole Field. Appreciate the hospitality of the Versailles Tigers with cheesy potatoes and shredded chicken and barbecue pork in the press box. I don't think you can complain about that.
I would not. Great press box. Scott Borman treats us really, really well here. And really nice setup here. We appreciate coming down here.
So that will do it from us here in Versailles. Marion Local wins their 54th consecutive game. In impressive fashion, they beat the number 4 ranked Versailles Tigers. The final score, the final time on the Holman's Insurance scoreboard, it's 48-0. Marion Local over Versailles. For our entire WOSN crew and Mark Schott, I'm Garrett Seawright saying so long. We'll catch you next time right here on WOSN.